You are sitting in a quiet room right now. The door is locked. The lights are on. Nothing in this space can hurt you. And yet some ancient part of you is still scanning the corners, still flinching at a sudden creak in the floor, still bracing against a danger that hasn't existed for thousands of years. You are not paranoid. You are hunted. Not by anything in this room. By something inside your own skull. Think about the last time you were walking alone and heard a noise behind you. A rustle. A footstep. A shape moving at the edge of your vision. Before you could think, your heart slammed. Your breath caught. Your whole body coiled to run. Then you turned around and saw nothing. Just wind. Just a branch. Just your own coat catching on a chair. You felt foolish. But the real answer actually goes deeper. That false alarm was not a glitch. It was your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. And to understand why, you have to go back millions of years to a world where you were not the top of the food chain. You were meat. For most of human history, your ancestors lived surrounded by things that wanted to eat them. Big cats, hyenas, snakes coiled in the grass, evil humans hiding beyond the firelight. In that world, survival did not go to the calm and the reasonable. It went to the twitchy, the jumpy, the ones who ran first and asked questions later. Here is the brutal math that shaped your mind. Imagine two of your ancestors hearing a rustle in the bushes. The first one assumes it's the wind and keeps walking. The second one assumes it's a leopard and bolts. 9 times out of 10, it really is just the wind. The calm one saves energy. The jumpy one wastes it, running from nothing, looking ridiculous. But on the 10th time, it's a leopard. And now the calm one is dead, and the jumpy one is alive. Think about what that means across thousands of generations. The calm, reasonable, energy-saving ancestors kept getting removed from the gene pool, one leopard at a time. The anxious ones kept surviving to have children. Slowly, silently, over an unimaginable stretch of time, fear won. The evolutionary biologist Randolph Nesse gave this idea a name. He called it the smoke detector principle. A smoke detector that screams every time you make toast is annoying. But you keep it because the cost of a false alarm is a few seconds of noise, while the cost of a missed alarm is your entire house burning down while you sleep. Your fear system works the exact same way. It is not designed to be accurate. It is designed to be safe. It would rather make you jump at 100 harmless shadows than let you ignore the one shadow that has teeth. Nesse pointed out something you can feel in your own life. Almost every false alarm your body raises costs you almost nothing. A wasted flinch. A pounding heart over nothing. A sleepless hour. Cheap. But the one time the alarm is real and you ignore it, the cost is everything. So evolution set the dial all the way toward caution and left it there. Every jumpy ancestor lived. Every calm one got eaten. And you are descended, without exception, from the jumpy ones. You inherited their alarm. And it did not come with an off switch. Think about that for a moment. You never chose this. Nobody sat you down and taught you to freeze at a sudden sound. It was handed to you at birth, fully assembled, tuned by 100,000 years of near misses in the dark. Every survivor in your family line passed it forward, quietly, without ever knowing they were doing it. Now here is where it gets even stranger. Because there is an actual machine inside your head running this system, and scientists have mapped exactly how it works. Deep in your brain, buried behind your eyes, sits a small almond-shaped cluster of cells called the amygdala. It is your personal threat detector. It never sleeps. It scans everything you see and hear, looking for danger, and it does this faster than you can possibly be aware of. The neuroscientist Joseph Leduc spent decades tracing how fear actually moves through the brain. He started with something as simple as how rats process sound, and what he found along the way rewrites how you should think about your own reactions. When something startles you, the signal splits and takes 2 separate roads at once. The first is what Leduc called the low road. It runs straight from your senses to the amygdala, skipping your thinking brain entirely. It is fast, crude. It doesn't wait to find out what the thing actually is. In roughly 1/100th of a second, It fires the alarm and floods your body with adrenaline. This is the road that makes you leap back from a coiled garden hose before you've even realized it isn't a snake. The second is the high road. It's slower. It sends the same signal up to your cortex, the smart, careful part of your brain, which takes its time, looks closely, and finally says relax. It's a hose. But notice the order. The fear comes first. The understanding comes second. By the time your rational mind has calmly identified the hose, your heart is already pounding and your legs have already flinched. You did not decide to be afraid. Your body decided for you, and only invited your conscious mind to the meeting after the danger was already handled. Why would evolution build it this way? Because in a world full of predators, the extra fraction of a second it takes to be sure could be the fraction of a second a leopard needs to close the distance. Being wrong and alive always beat being right and dead. So your brain chose speed over accuracy, and it never changed the setting. This is the part that should stop you cold. Your body is still running software written for a world that no longer exists. The predators are gone. The leopards, the rival tribes, the darkness full of eyes. For most of us, they vanished generations ago. But the alarm system that evolved to survive them is still installed, still armed, still firing at full strength. The problem is that it can't tell the difference between a leopard and a deadline, between a rival warrior and an unanswered text message, between a rustle in the grass and an email marked urgent. Your amygdala treats them all the same way. It floods you with the same ancient chemicals meant to make you fight or flee. Your heart races before a job interview. Your stomach drops when your phone buzzes. You lie awake at 3 in the morning, muscles tense, scanning the dark, certain something is wrong, unable to say what. Nothing in that room can hurt you. But your body doesn't know that. It's still standing watch over a savanna that disappeared long ago. There is even research explaining why certain fears feel almost impossible to reason away. Scientists say we are biologically prepared to fear snakes, spiders, heights, and the dark far more readily than we fear cars or electrical outlets, even though the modern things kill far more people every year. Consider the snake. Venomous snakes still kill more than 100,000 people annually, and your brain seems to know it. Studies show humans spot a snake in a cluttered image faster than almost any other object. Infants only a few months old show fear responses to snakes they have never encountered. Even other primates share this reflex, which means it is far older than humanity itself. The fear isn't learned, it's inherited. It was written into you before you were born, by ancestors who needed it to survive. Why the dark, then? Because darkness was when the math flipped? In daylight, early humans were confident hunters. But when the sun went down, we lost our greatest weapon, our eyes, and turned from predator back into prey. The night belonged to the things with better senses than ours. And so a fear of the dark became a fear of the moment we were most likely to be hunted. You are carrying all of that vigilance into a world that no longer requires it. And maybe that reframes something you felt your whole life. That restless anxiety with no clear cause. That sense of being watched when you're alone. That flood of dread that arrives before any real threat. You've probably called it a weakness, a flaw, something broken in you. It isn't. It's a gift from people who loved life enough to survive for it. Every anxious jolt you feel is an unbroken chain of ancestors who were afraid at exactly the right moment and lived because of it, all the way down to you. The hunt is over. The predators are extinct. But the animal that survived them is still inside you, still listening, still ready. So the next time your heart pounds at a sound in an empty house, don't be embarrassed. Don't fight it. Just understand it for what it is. You are sitting in a quiet room right now. The door is locked. The lights are on. Nothing here can hurt you. But 100,000 years of survivors are still watching the dark through your eyes, just to be sure.